Welcome back to Coach Bill's Sports Show. I'm Coach Bill. We talk some college football here, some fantasy football, do a little NCAA 14 until the new stuff comes out, which I'm really excited for. Pretty much if it's football related, we talk about it or we do it here on the channel. So let's huddle up and let's get down to it. This episode is about Tennessee. Season 2. Coach Heupel is the head man. Do we see a drastic change in the team from Season 1? And how will they progress in Season 2? Last year, they set a ton of offensive records for the University of Tennessee. A ton of them. And a lot of that was due to Hendon Hooker. Does Hendon take another step forward? And does that propel the team forward? Is Hendon Hooker a Heisman candidate because of it? There's a lot of question marks about that. But what we know is this offense is explosive and it's going to put up big numbers. So you better be able to stop it. Our offense is replacing a few positions, but it's not the side of the ball in Tennessee that I would be worried about. That's the defense. This defense was unable to get pressure on quarterbacks last year. Unable. Can they fix that? Can they change it? Can they put pressure on quarterbacks? So if you put pressure on quarterbacks with that offense and how fast and how explosive it is, Tennessee can be a dangerous team. A dangerous team. Now, I'm not saying they're a college football playoff team. It could happen. There's some wild stuff that could happen, but they could be dangerous. It's not a team I want to see coming into my building. They start the season off with Ball State on a Thursday night. And Tennessee and Ball State are on two different levels. Let's just be real about it. Following that, they go to Pittsburgh. And it's a little bit of a revenge game, in my opinion. If Tennessee had started Hendon Hooker last year, I think they could have beaten Pittsburgh last year. And that was before they lost a Balishnikov winner at wide receiver who transferred out. Their number one quarterback who got drafted by the Steelers, and a lot of other talent on that team. Now, Pittsburgh is not a slouch team. That's an away game that is a difficult game. But this offense and this team, I think, can handle it. I think they go into Pittsburgh and win. Starting off 2-0, come back home and get Akron. Again, no offense to Akron. You got LeBron, but you're not getting this win. So 3-0, and rival Florida comes into town for week 4. This would be a big game to win. Is it possible? Yes. But a lot of that doesn't lie on Tennessee. If Tennessee plays their game, it's going to be a hard game to beat them. The question is, what Florida team shows up? Is it the talented team we saw at the beginning of last season before the things fell off the rails? Or is it the team we saw at the end of last season? Does this new coaching staff have everything in place before the game? Are they still making adjustments? There's a lot of questions involved. Do I see Florida coming up and beating Tennessee? No, I have Tennessee winning this game, which is big for Eastern Tennessee, Knoxville, Rocky Top Nation. Tennessee beating Florida is always a good time. Starting the season 4-0, they get an early bye week in week 5, which is scary. But I want to say it's necessary because the week after they go to play LSU. And LSU is a coin flip game for me this year. for Tennessee. Tennessee can go in there and just beat the brakes off of LSU. Because LSU has one of those teams that one year, there's no touching them. The next year, they have a hard time putting a team on the field. Will Coach Kelly have his quarterback resolved by this time? Do they have everything together? Does Tennessee get caught looking ahead to Alabama? There's a lot of things wrapped up in this game that make it a coin toss for me. Right now, I've got LSU losing this game to Tennessee, but it's a very close game. I wouldn't be surprised to see LSU beat Tennessee. Week after LSU, Alabama. Tennessee gets Alabama at home. And it would be a phenomenal thing to beat Alabama. But I don't think it's this year. I think their streak continues. And I don't think Tennessee beats Alabama. Alabama is just too talented. Now, could Tennessee come out like they did last season and put a lot of hits, put up a lot of points on them and make Alabama come from behind? Yes, they can do that. Could it be a shootout? Yes, it could be a shootout. You got a Heisman winning quarterback on one side, and you got Hendon Hooker, who has been talked about as a dark horse for a Heisman this year. It could definitely happen. But I just see Alabama winning this game. Tennessee versus Alabama is going to become more competitive in the next few years. And this could probably set up to be one of the best games we've seen versus Tennessee and Alabama in a long, long time. Probably since Mount Cody blocked a kick to let Alabama win a game. That's how long it's been. Since we've had a good game between UT, University of Tennessee, and Alabama. Alabama wins. That's Tennessee's first loss. After Alabama, UT Martin allows Tennessee to lick some wounds, get back on track, before getting into what I call the heart of the SEC East for them. Kentucky, it's a tough game for Tennessee. It's going to be a tough game. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Kentucky is never an easy game. But I just think there's too much firepower at Tennessee for Kentucky to keep up with. I have Tennessee winning that one in a shootout, which is good because the following week they go to Georgia. And the Bulldogs, I'll say it multiple times, they're the reigning champs, and they're the best until somebody beats them. They're not a pushover at all. But neither will Tennessee be. It'll be a good game. But I think it comes down to the depth of the teams. And Georgia, being the returning national champs, has more depth, more experience than Tennessee. Now this game, in 2-3 years, we could be saying something completely different. And Tennessee could be the team with the depth and all the talent. But right now, that's Georgia. I have Tennessee losing to Georgia, but it's a close one. It's a close one. It's going to be a wonderful game to watch. After Georgia, Tennessee gets Missouri. And I've said it a few times, Missouri isn't an SEC team. They play in the SEC, but they're not an SEC caliber team. They just haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't know if it's coaching staff, it's upper leadership. I don't know what it is, but Tennessee should have no problem with Missouri, especially after Missouri's coach decided to give them a little extra cannon fodder for the game earlier on in the SEC media days. Then they get the South Carolina Gamecocks, and South Carolina should be a very tough game by late in the season. They should have their stuff together. Spencer Rattler should have, things more in line, more in tuned. Should be in a groove. So South Carolina's not going to be a pushover. It's going to be a tough game. But I think, again, the firepower for Tennessee wins out with this one. I think it comes down to who has the ball last with this game. I don't think it's a runaway game. I think it comes down to who gets the ball last or who just can be more explosive. And right now, that's Tennessee. So Tennessee beats South Carolina. I feel like I missed a game. Nope. I think we do enter. Oh, Vanderbilt. I forgot about Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, Vanderbilt. Thank you for being the SEC. But I don't think you have what it takes this year to beat Tennessee. Same with Missouri. The difference is for you have SEC caliber teams. Your baseball team is phenomenal. Let's be real. Your baseball team is phenomenal. Your basketball team every few years just comes out of nowhere and starts draining threes. But on the football field, in this game, I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen. Right now, I've got Tennessee as a 10-2 team, which is a huge step forward for Coach Heupel in his second year. And he'll have a lot of work to follow up on, especially with Hendon Hooker graduating, new quarterback coming in next year, or the year after. Luckily for Tennessee, I have Georgia and Alabama both making the college football playoffs. I have Texas A&M going to the Citrus Bowl, which I think puts Tennessee in the Tampa Bay Bowl, which used to be the Outback Bowl. Don't know why Outback pulled their sponsorship, but that's between Outback and the city of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay decided they wanted to keep the bowl, just name it after themselves, and hey, that's an amazing thing. It's always been a fun place to go to, and if you get the chance, going down that week into Tampa Bay is always a blast. If they don't go to Tampa Bay, I can see them going to Orange Bowl, maybe. I don't think they would want to go back to the Music City Bowl simply because they've been there a few times and it's in Nashville. You want to expand your brand beyond the Tennessee borders. And to do that, you really need to play in bowl games that are outside of the state of Tennessee. So I don't really see them choosing the Music City Bowl, but Tampa Bay Bowl or Orange Bowl, late December games, I think would be really good for Tennessee. So yeah, Tennessee, 10-2 team. Can they do it? I really think they can. I think this is the year that the Tennessee's national brand comes back in a way that we haven't seen since the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Peyton Manning, T. Martin time frame. It's pretty much the last time that I think that we were that Tennessee was in an echelon where they're about to get into. Again, I don't see them being a college football playoff team this year, but some things could bounce right. Some injuries could happen. Who knows? Do they have the firepower? Yes. They definitely have the firepower. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know. Let me know if you agree with my Tennessee season. If If not, tell me where I messed up. Tell me what I did wrong. Let's build this community and let's talk about it. Try to come with all these games as a fair point of view as possible. I am a Tennessee fan, so maybe a little orange colored glasses a few times, but I just feel like Tennessee's doing something that Tennessee hasn't done in a long time, and I'm excited for it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Ready, break.